Hello to all of you, our new Year 7s. Welcome to your maths taster lesson. It's a shame we can't have you in school in person, but I hope you enjoy this lesson. My name is Mr. Webster Whiting, and I will be teaching some of you next year. First of all, what I would like you to do is see how many different ways you can make your age using the digits from your date of birth. Right, so let's explain that. So say I was 11 years old, and my date of birth was the 23rd of March 2009, I could make 11 by, so 9 plus 3, which is 12. Then I subtract 2 divided by 2, or 2 divided by 2 is 1. So I've got 12 take 1, which equals 11. And then I'm going to add 3 times 0 times 0. Now anything times 0 is 0. So I've got my 11. I'm adding 0 to be 11, which is my year. Sorry, my age. Okay, so pause the video and see whether any of you can make your age out of your date of birth. So pause the video now and start it again once you've worked it out. Okay, so I hope you could be able to do that. Now it's just a bit of practice of playing about with adding, subtracting, dividing. Just make sure we can play about with our numbers. What I want to look at today is different ways of multiplying. Now, already you should know how to multiply a couple of numbers together without using a calculator. So there's a question on the board for you. So 24 times 33. So without using a calculator, can you please work that out for me? So pause the video and then come back when you've finished. Okay, so hopefully you've managed to work out 24 times by 33, and you should have got the answer of 792. Now, there are two ways which you probably know how to work this out, which I'm going to quickly go over now. Okay, the first method you might have used is the column method. So that's where we write one number above the other number. So 24 above the 33. Remember, we're multiplying the two together. So our units are lined above the units, tens above the tens. So start off doing the 3 from the units column with the 4 from the units number above. So 3 times 4 is 12. Carry the 1 over to the tens column. Then we do the 3 from units on the bottom number with the 2 from the tens to the top column. So 3 times 2 equals 6. Plus I carried over 1 makes 7. It goes in there. Next, we need to do the 3 from the tens column. So we need to add our leading 0. And then we do 3 times 4. So it's 12. So 2 carry the 1 over. Then as we do our 3 times the 2. It's a 6 plus the carried over 1 is a 7. Then we add these two rows together. So 2 plus 0 equals 2, 7 plus 2 is equal to 9, 7 plus 9 equals 7, so we get the answer of 792. Now, the other method, which you probably know how to use, and I'm guessing some of you use, is the grid method. So we start off by drawing a grid. Of course, if you do this, you'll be using a ruler, so it'll be neater than mine. So let's have our rows there, and we need our columns coming down here. Okay, so I do my 20 in there, I do the 4 in there, I do my 30 here, the 3 there. I'm multiplying the two together. So 30 times 20, easy way to do this is 3 times 2, which equals 6, and then I've got 2 zeros to add on. Yep, next one, 30 times 4, so 3 times 4 is 12, and 1 0 to add on. Now do the one below, so 3 times 20, that's nice and easy, that's 60, and then 3 times 4 equals 12. Now I'm going to add up the number here and the number here, so 600 plus 120 is 720. And I'm going to add my 60 and my 12, which makes 72, and I'm going to add these two in the last column together, so that will give me 297, so 792 again. So you'll be able to see that the number we got here on the grid method, 792, matches the answer we got from the column method. So it doesn't matter which method you use, you should get the same answer. So what I want to look at now is some other methods of doing multiplication which you may not have seen before that come from different countries around the world. The first method we're going to look at comes from Egypt. So we're going to use the same numbers as we did before. So we're going to use our 24 times by 33. What we want to do first of all is write off a left and write column. Yeah, and the left-hand column we're going to write 1, and then right-hand column we're going to write the larger of our two numbers. So 1 under the left and 33 under the right. The next step is nice and easy. We're just going to keep doubling each number. So double 1 equals 2, double 33 equals 66. And double it again. So double 2 equals 4, double 66 is 132. And we're going to keep doubling that. And we want to keep going until the number in our left-hand column is over half that of the smaller number. So our smaller number in this case was 24. Half of 24 equals 12. So we need our left number to be bigger than 12. 8 isn't, so let's do another time. 16. 16 is now bigger than 12, so this is where we're going to stop. So we've now done all the doubling that we need to do, and remember double 264 was 528. Now we want to add up the numbers in our left-hand column until they equal 24. And any ones which we don't use, we're then just going to ignore. The easiest way to do this is start with the biggest number and then add the next biggest number. So 16 plus 8 equals 24. So then I can ignore the 4, the 2 and the 1. So we've worked out we can ignore the 1, the 2 and the 4 rows, and we're just left with the 8 and the 16. Yeah, so we cross through 1, the 2 and the 4, and the numbers corresponding on the right hand column as well. And we're just left with the 8 and the 16. So we now add the 8 and the 16 together, which we know makes us to 24, and we add the two numbers on the right hand side, and that gives us 792, which was our answer. So that's how we can use the Egyptian multiplication method to multiply numbers. And in the end, all we needed to do was double numbers and then do a bit of addition. Nice and easy. I've left the example on the left-hand side of the screen for you, and there are 5 questions on the right-hand side I would like you to try. Remember to do this, write 2 columns, left and right. In the left column, you write 1. In the right column, you write the bigger of the two numbers you're multiplying together. And then you're just going to double each of those rows, so double the 1 and double the bigger number. And you're going to keep going until the left-hand number is over half that of the smaller number. Work out how you can add up the left-hand column to make a smaller number, cross out the ones you don't need and the corresponding ones on the right-hand side, add up the ones which are left over on the right-hand side, and there's your answer. So pause the video, try those 5 questions, and when you're ready to check your answers, press play again and we'll carry on. And there you are, the 5 answers of those questions that I asked you to do. Hope you got those right. If not, just go back and double check. Remember, we were just doubling each number until the left-hand column was over half that of the smaller number, and then just check your addition as well. Okay, we're now going to look at the multiplication method from another country. Our next country is Russia, so we're going to look at the Russian multiplication method. So we're going to do different numbers this time. So we're going to start off looking at 45 times by 67. What we want to do is write down a smaller number and then the bigger number. Okay, and what we're going to do, so we've got smaller and bigger, 45 and 67. Yeah, we're going to halve the smaller number and we're going to double the bigger number. If when we halve there are any remainders, we're just going to ignore them. So for instance, 45, half of 45 would be 22.5 or 22.5. Now I'm going to ignore the 0.5, so half of that would just be 22. Double 67 is 134. I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to halve 22, which will give me 11, then double 134, which will be 268. Do the same thing again. Half 11 is going to be 5.5. Ignore the half, so it's just going to be 5, and double 268 is 536. And repeat, half of 5 is 2.5. Ignore the half, so we'll just have 2 there, and double 536 was 1072. And once more, because we keep going until the smaller number reaches 1. So half of 2 equals 1, and double 1072 equals 2144. So all we're doing here is halving the smaller number and doubling the bigger number. And just remember, when we halve, we ignore any remainders. The next step is to look down the list of numbers under the smaller column and just cross out any which are even. So the first number down, 45, was odd, we leave that. 22 is even, So we cross through that and cross through the 134, which is in the bigger column. Next one down is 11, odd, we leave that. Question 5, odd, we leave that. Next number is 2, which is even, so we want to cross that one out. And the last number is 1, which is odd, so we're going to leave that as well. Now we're going to add up the numbers which are in our bigger column. Okay, if we add all of those up, we get down to 3015. And that's our answer. That's the answer of 45 times by 67. So we didn't have to do really any complicated multiplication. We were just doubling, we were just halving, and then we're adding up numbers again. And we got the answer of 3015. So remember that, write the two numbers, the smaller number, we halve, the bigger number, we double, and keep going, and then cross out any even numbers from the smaller column and add up the numbers which are left from the bigger column, and that will give the answer. So once again, I'll leave the example on the left hand side, and there are 5 questions for you to try using this Russian multiplication method. So pause the video and then get it going again once you've answered those 5 questions. Okay, and those are the answers for those 5 questions. So once again, hopefully you've got those right. If not, just go back, double check, see where you may have gone wrong. Right, the next country I want to look at is China. Okay, there's another method from China which is of how we can multiply numbers together. So for the Chinese method, we need to draw out a grid, fairly similar to the grid method you may have used before for multiplication, but with this one we have a diagonal line going through the boxes as well. So we're going to do 361 times by 46. So I've split 300 for the first column, 60 for the second column, 1 for the third, and then times by 46. So 40 will be the top row and 6 will be the second row. And you can see on that diagram there that I've done a diagonal line through each box. Now we're just going to do the multiplication of each bit like we've done with the normal grid method. So 3 times 4 and 6 times 4 and so on. So I'm going to start off doing 3 times by the 4, which equals 12. So I put 1 here and then 2 there in the bottom right hand corner. The next one I would do 6 times by 4. So 6 4s are 24. So the 10's part of the answer, the 2's in the top left hand corner there, and the 4 will go down there. 1 times 4 is 4. There's nothing for the 10's column, so put a 0 there and put 4 there, and the same for the bottom row. Once you've worked out all of those multiplications, we want to add up the numbers but diagonally. So we're going to start off in the bottom right hand corner, like you when you do adding, you start from the units column. So in this diagonal here, I've just got 6. Yep, let's give me 6 there. Now in the next diagonal, yep, I've got a 4 plus a 0 plus the 6. So I'm going to add those together. So 6 plus 0 plus 4 is equal to 10. Yep, so I put the 0 here and I carry the 1 over. Okay, so now I'm going to add up my next diagonal. Yeah, so 8 plus 3 equals 11, plus 4 is 15, plus my carried over 1 makes 16. So there's 6 there, and I'm going to carry the 1 over. And I've got 2 plus 2 plus 1 is 5, plus my carried over 1 makes 6, and then I've got finally I've just got my 1 there, which should give my 1 there. Okay, so we just add the diagonals and add it over just as you would for normal addition. So then our answer is, reading from the top left here along to there, so it's 16,606. So once again, I've left that example on the left hand side of the screen, and then there are 5 more questions on the right hand side for you to try. So once again, pause the video, have a go at these questions, and then press play again once you're ready to check your answers. So there are the answers for those last 5 questions of using the Chinese multiplication. So if you want to, you can go and try any of those again using any of the methods, or try and make up your own questions. Okay, try to remember how they work, see whether you can teach anyone else in your family or your friends how to use these. It's just an idea of different ways of doing something which you already know how to do, which is what happens with maths when you go to secondary school. You do tasks which you knew one way to know how to do before, and we're going to teach you new ways to do this. So that's it for today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. Keep safe, keep well, and hopefully I'll see you back in school in September in your brand new uniforms. Goodbye.